Good evening and welcome. This is Friday, April the 29th? Only one day left in this month of April. My, time doesn't wait for anyone. My name is Oliver Blue, and I am your co host of the weekly talk show Truly Live. And Yolanda and I will be right back. Stay with us.
It's a special kind of love, say love is enough. No greater love ever lived. Love is enough. Than to lay down his life for a friend. Love is enough. Now his love is inside me and you. Love is enough. So just spread love, just spread love. Love is enough. Everybody say.
Trying to find a way to escape. Trying to find a way to escape all the pressure I feel growing inside of me, because I'm far away from you, knowing that you are my source, so I gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. Gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way. Darkly, I see no light in front of me. I've come to the conclusion that you are the eyes that see past all confusion to a place called sanity. You take my hand, I'm free. Lord, I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. Gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. Gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way. Lord, you said you'd never leave me, nor forsake me, and in all my ways to acknowledge you, and then you'll direct my path if I would keep my mind on you. You said you will keep me, you'll keep me, please keep me, please keep me, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. Gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord. I've gotta find my way back to you, Lord.
It's 7 p.m. Eastern time.
And it is truly live.
It is truly live with Oliver and Yolanda.
Yolanda Blue.
All right, Oliver Blue.
All right. And as you can see, we are so excited and we are just so happy to be here. Thank you so much for joining us. And we see our friends, our families, our patrons popping into the comment field already. And hello. And truly, like the song say, the real you loves you, because the real you is
love.
And we thank you so much for joining us tonight for another brand new episode of Truly Live. This is actually episode 39.
Woo-hoo.
And we are headed for that number 52, where we'll be celebrating 1 year of being out here in this digital community called YouTube. And wow, just jump on in. They're jumping in tonight.
They're in there. I love it. I
love it. Well, here in North Carolina, the sun is shining.
Oh, it's very warm here.
It's a little warm. The trees are beautiful. All the leaves are in. The grass is green. Our lawn is pretty.
The lawn is beautiful.
We have our grand puppy with us, our grand dog with us tonight.
And G Poppy would not let him be on camera.
He's a little disappointed.
He made him stay downstairs.
He's a little disappointed because he wanted to get on screen tonight.
We'd already talked about it.
Well, if we don't hear him moan and groan within the 55 minutes, we may go get him for the last 5 minutes. Woo! Be a bonus. Be a bonus for you all. Well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Oliver, and
I'm Yolanda.
And we are the OK Blues, and we are A-OK tonight.
Yes.
And if this is your
A-OK every
yes,
night.
and if this is your first time joining us, please, how about making us aware of that by putting it in the chat? Put your name and where you are dialing in from. What city?
We already know that we've got that was for the dance. That's Carol and Bob up in Indiana. Hi, hello. Those are our VIP patrons. Hello to Bob and Carol. And we've got Naomi. Naomi saw the dance too. Thank you, Naomi.
She said, Naomi
says good evening, everyone.
Right.
There's Brenda. She's on. She says, cool.
Brenda from Ontario, Canada.
My favorite.
And
city.
Brenda, you ought to be doing mighty fine tonight, because I mean we've kind of obliged you with some sweet things for your listening ear, Brenda.
And then we've got this S. Johnson. Is this Sandra Johnson? I'm not really certain, but she said she's still trying to figure out the chat on YouTube. Well, apparently you have, because we've got you up, but we've got you up on the
S.
screen.
Johnson.
So,
yes. Oh, that's Sheila. Right?
Is that Sheila Johnson?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, Sheila, for joining us.
We've got a couple of S. Johnsons.
Yeah, and Sheila's one of our patrons.
Okay.
Also.
Well, hello, patron. And then Virginia Carter. She says she loves grand puppies.
Yes.
I know we do too.
Yes.
It's Sheila Johnson.
Yes,
Thank
Sheila
you.
Johnson.
Thank you, Sheila. Woo-hoo. Thank you for letting us know.
Yeah, her name appears a little different than when she was in on Facebook.
Yeah.
And now we're all on YouTube. We're exclusively on YouTube, and we're actually ending our first month with being exclusively on YouTube. And we thank you ladies and gentlemen for making that transition with us. Because it's going to only benefit all of us.
Yeah, it was. We never could get all the chats, regardless of how many times we met with, and we just never could get all the chats up. And the whole point is for us to be able to see and to be able to communicate and interact. And we love your engagement. So we're just on YouTube, and we're working it out.
We are working it out.
Okay. All right.
Well, if this is your first time tuning in to us, we are the OK Blues, and we are
he must be excited about our name, because this is like the third or fourth time he said that. Okay.
I am excited about it.
Okay.
And you are here with Oliver and Yolanda, and we are 32 years, almost 32 years. It will be in a few months, be 32 years friends and partners. We are parents and grandparents, and we are honored to have friends in high and low places.
We just have phenomenal friends.
and
Period.
and I'm saying they're
Just-
all phenomenal.
Just phenomenal.
In our world, there
friends.
is no high, there is no
There
low.
is no-
It just is, right?
You,
It
well, you're
merely
the
is.
one that said high and low, so I'm like, where? Well, I'm like, where is he at, y'all?
Yeah. And our
Ooh,
and I
I just went southern. I said, y'all.
yeah, I know it. And you may be asking, well, what do you guys do? What do you two country bunkings do? Well, first of all, you're looking at a guy that was born and raised in the projects of North Carolina. I'm a project kid, and I'm proud of it. And to my right, you're looking at a beautiful young lady that was actually born, raised, and nurtured on a farm. She's a farm girl from the northern part of the state of North Carolina. In some way, somehow, by divine order, we cross paths. And in the crossing of that path, when you get a project kid born in the project with a young lady that was driving tractors at 8 years old, what do you get
Oh no.
when you
no.
combine
I was
that
driving
together?
Tractors at 7. By
7
the
years
time I
old.
was 8.
When you
I
put
was on to trucks
When-
and
when you put that together, you get truly live.
I was on the trucks and cement dump trucks and 18.
She was born in a family, it was all girls,
Yeah.
4 girls. And dad needed some assistance. He wanted a young boy and he needed some help with the farming and all the things that, what we traditionally say are men roles, or boys roles, or male roles. And so out of the 4 girls, Yolanda was the one that took to the farming.
Well,
Yolanda
all,
was
all
the-
had to farm. We
Yolanda
all
was-
had to farm.
Yolanda was the one that,
But I was
bec-
the one that he chose for the driving.
Y-
So I would sit to his left and he would drive his truck and he would say, "Oh, my head itch, my back itches. I need to scratch." He's like, "Take the wheel." And so I would just have to start driving because he'd just remove his hands. And of course, I didn't know that the vehicle would just steer itself for a while. Anyway, so it started out that way.
and he eventually put her in a pair of bib overalls.
me- Yolanda and her 3 sisters, because we all did all of that. Yes, we did. As a matter of fact, I drove past the house that I grew up in last week, and I took some pictures.
So when Yolanda and I got married, the traditional roles, we just scratched all that because she had just as much what you call male skills that I had.
Wait a minute, I had more.
She had more than I did.
I'm the one that had all the power tools in the house are mine because I know how to use the power drill. I mean, I know how to, so our dad taught us how to use all of the tools. As a matter of fact, you couldn't drive until you knew how to change the oil. And back in that day, we had to do tune-ups. You had to be able to change the spark plugs. So we were doing that. I mean, at 9 years old, we were helping him to do that. And then before we actually started driving officially, because I mean, at 13, I was on the highway with my dad behind me because my mom was working 3rd shift. But officially, you couldn't drive to get your learner's permit until you could rotate the tires on the vehicle because he wanted us to know how to change a tire. So we would never be stranded. And the tires weighed more than I did. So for his big truck.
But fortunately for her, I was a mama's boy. So I hung around the kitchen.
But I'm still the better cook. So
She's the better cook, but I
yeah.
hung around the kitchen,
Better cook, better baker.
and then I would go to my grandma. When I was at age of 8, 9, 10, I used to go to my grandmother and babysit for my uncles and aunts, and so I used to hang around my grandmother's kitchen too. So so when we came together and combined our skills, she had support all over the place. She had support in the kitchen. She had support in the laundry. She had support in the cleaning and everything.
He doesn't
And,
do that now. Wow, boy, have things changed. Oh, we have to go back to that. Oh, don't get quiet now.
Well, I don't clean now because I don't make a mess.
Oh, you are the mess maker. You and Kona. That's the grand dog.
But anyway,
He does make a mess, guys. He makes a mess all over the place.
We are transformational certified coaches. We are
How did we get off
conference
on that tangent?
easy. This is our life. These episodes are not rehearsed now. We just decide to meet at the same, just like you guys decide to meet up, we come up too. We just come here and meet.
We actually haven't seen each other a lot today because
No.
I was one place, he was someplace else. And
Yeah.
So hi, sweetheart.
Hey, sweetie.
I love you.
I got caught in that traffic in
I know.
Durham today.
I know.
this afternoon.
Yeah.
But anyway, we are certified transformational coaches. We're conference speakers. We are spiritual teachers. We're just loving human beings.
We are loving human
you
beings.
ladies and gentlemen are. And we're the co-founders of Truly OB LLC, a personal and professional principle-centered development company that help others to gain clarity about their true identity, which we call
the real you.
the real you. If you didn't know it, there is a real you that loves you.
Yes.
And that is our core message. And we share timeless content, universal principles, transformational practices, and community access with others who are committed to experiencing a deeper, more meaningful life. And that's why you're here. We'll also share our decade of experience. That's why we have to talk about our life. Decades of experience from our journey together. So we'll share, some of our personal things as we get along. We'll become more and more, we'll get more and more in depth in those things because we believe that those things can help all of us. All of us have experience that can help others. And sometimes we are not, we're not ready to share those things because we don't know that that's why we had the experience to be shared. And so as we move forward, we'll be sharing more and more and more about the practicality of the experience that we share as they relate to the principles that we teach.
All right.
And more than ever, if you watched us at the beginning of the show, we are a dance-loving couple, and we're fun-loving also. We like to have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. We
play a lot.
We play a lot. We love a lot.
Yes.
We just do everything together. We have always done everything together for 30-something years. I mean, whether it was my career, she was supporting me. Whether it was ministry, we were doing it together. Everything that we've always done, the fundraising we did for 17 years, we did it together. Everything we did it together.
I'm your support.
She's my she's my support, but she's my equal. And we have the subject that we're going to talk about tonight is a practical. It really is the practical story of our life.
Okay.
And so we love joy and laughter because it gives us, and we lean into joy and laughter because it's very useful to help you get through challenges, because that's what it did for us. And so we encourage you to be full of laughter, full of joy. All right. And you want to tell our audience why we are here? What is our motivation?
Why we do what we do.
Why we do what we do.
We want people to know that their life has deep meaning and good purpose. We help people to consider and pursue the results that matter to them so that they live a focused life with purposed attention. Our passion is to help those who remain outside, unknowing, unawakened, and in need of a witness to the truth that is true always.
That's true always.
We love sharing a powerful message with you, a powerful people.
Yes. And if you did not know it, again, your life has deep meaning, tremendous meaning, and great and good purpose.
Yes.
And so we are here to only be pointers, temporary guides, to point you towards that real you, which is purposeful and which is meaningful.
Yes.
And so with that, we're going to move into our next segment, where we always like to do a special acknowledgement. And we were kind of thinking about, what special happened this week, what that we can acknowledge What?
Well, we're going to
phenomenal.
always acknowledge our patrons.
Always.
Patrons are those people who partner with us to share this information so that those who need it can receive it.
Yes.
So a great shout out and we're grateful to our patrons.
Yes. And we continue to hold a prayerful space for the people of Ukraine and all others who are impacted by the events in their country. It is our desire, I'm sure, as well as everyone, that a peaceful resolution is found sooner than later.
Yes.
And however love moves upon you is the way that we should respond to that.
Yes.
And so from here at Truly Live, we hold that space continuously.
Yes. We also give a special shout out to everyone who has celebrated a birthday since last Friday.
Right.
Happy birthday to you all, and anyone who has celebrated an anniversary as well. So
Yes.
happy birthday and happy anniversary to anyone who celebrated that.
Absolutely. And you guys know that we love to acknowledge our parents because they was the one, they're the one responsible for providing us this opportunity, right?
They're the
Without
them we wouldn't be here.
without their entanglement, we wouldn't be here.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Well, entanglement is something good.
I did not say anything about any particular word. I just said okay.
Oh. So hello, Grandma Blue. Hello, Mother Blue. We love you. We know you're watching. We send you much love.
Much love always.
And we also like to acknowledge Yolanda's dad.
Papa.
We call him Papa, the farmer.
Oh man, he was in great. He was in
rare
he
form
was
this
in rare
week.
form. He was telling jokes. I was like, wow, look at him. So
Yes. So we're able to share this unique expression with the world because of them.
yes.
And we honor you for that. We always like to bathe this hour together with what we call gratitude. And it is through gratitude that we have learned. Oh my God, this is one of the lessons that we continue to expand with. We've learned.
We like to set to
Mhm.
charge the atmosphere
Mhm.
too. So we want to focus our energy and set the mood for what we want to do here.
Yeah. So our vibe tonight is what? Our vibe tonight is gratitude. And so we are so happy and we're so grateful that you are here. So happy and grateful that for us to be here, for the show to be continued week in and week out. And we're just so happy and we're so grateful. We look forward to it each Friday.
And if you would please share with us in the chat what you are happy and grateful for,
Yeah.
and we'll share some of those.
Yeah.
Brenda has already posted that she's grateful that she could prepare her supper, and she is eating it now.
All right.
Enjoy, Brenda.
Enjoy, Brenda. Dinner with the blues on Truly Live. How about that?
Friday
Well, you
night
know, I
dinner.
send my letter out each week, and hopefully you guys are getting are on our mailing list. And if you're not, please put in the chat, and so we can add you to our mailing list. But we send out an email every Friday, just announcing and reminding everyone that we're on Friday nights at 7, and we give you the direct link to Truly Live, and we always state that grab your favorite beverage, so you can also grab your favorite dinner because it is dinner time, right?
It is.
And sit with us for this hour because we're here just for viewers. We're here to be a blessing and to provide and to share, what we call relevant information. We know that what we're sharing, our voice in the world, is relevant right now, and the information is relevant. It's inspiring. It's transformative, as well as you can leave this hour and go away inspired, go away empowered. So it's also empowering.
Yes.
Yes,
It's also transformative.
and transformative,
And what's the other word?
inspiring,
You already said that. Inspired.
informative.
Informative. There
Yeah.
you go.
Oh, I
just-
got it. I
just
got
had
it
to make
down.
certain. Just
It's coming from my heart now. It's not coming from my head. It has moved from my head to my heart.
Okay. Well, so if you are not on the email, first of all, we want to ask you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and if the information that you're hearing is helpful to you, then please, by all means, share that so other people can get it too. If by chance you are not on the email list and you would like to get the emails that we send out, you can do that by sending us an email at okblues@trulyob.com.
Yes. Okay.
And I have
Blues
put
at
that in the
trulyob.com.
chat.
That
So
is up.
let's put this
Yeah.
up here. okblues@trulyob.com. Okay. So our dear friends Bob and Carol said we are grateful for opportunities to give and share our time, talents, and money. And talented you people are, for real. We're gonna have them on because they do some tremendous work.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I am a recipient of some of their work. And my friends are going to be recipients of their work too.
Yes.
So we're going to have to definitely have them on. Let's see who else. Okay, that's it. All right, so that's our gratitude sharing. And now, Oliver, we're going to move into our inspiration and encouragement segment.
Yes. And so these are great lead-ins to what we're going to be teaching on tonight, which is a continuation from last week. So as I was preparing for tonight, I mean, I remembered the quote from last week, and then I added a couple more quotes because, I mean, this is such a broad subject. And these three quotes definitely come to mind when I think about the subject of love. And
So that's tonight's topic.
And that's tonight's topic, which is, of course, a continuation from last week, because we did not get in depth and we didn't share everything that we had
That's right.
intended to. So the first quote tonight is just a repeat from last week, and
Yes.
Yolanda's going to share that.
So, love embraces all things, allows all things, trusts all things, and thereby transcends all things. This quote is taken out of The Way of Mastery. That book is in, that's lesson number 6 on page 71 in the book, The Way of Mastery. This is part of a scripture. The love embraces all things, allows all things, trusts all things. That's in the sacred scriptures as well.
Yes. And so, we didn't send out that vibration of gratitude and love, and up pops Pearl Hawk. How about that? How you doing?
Putting her up here.
How
Oh
you
my
doing,
gosh, I
our
didn't
dear
even read-
sister?
She said, so grateful to have my sister and brother Blue in my life. You guys are the best. Oh, you are the best.
You are the
oh
best.
my gosh. Love you dearly, darling.
Your
love you.
your
Love you.
husband is the best. I hope he's watching with you, and I hope he's doing the good job like he always does. We're gonna see you guys real soon.
Those are some of our dearest friends.
Yes, yes. And so the second quote comes from the same resource, the book, The Way of Mastery. And we featured this book a couple times on our episode. It's a great read. And I'll read it. It says, all souls long to break free. It says, all souls long to break free of all limitations, and once again to rest and recline in the perfect peace, which is the certain knowledge that only love is real.
Wow.
Only love is real.
That is perfect peace.
That is perfect peace.
Wow.
That is what perfect peace comes from. Knowing is in the knowing that only love is real. And it goes further to that. It becomes personal when you understand that you are that love that is real. And that real you loves you.
Yes.
That's when it becomes personal. And so this is a great quote, because we do all and that longing is so strong right now in the world. And we know why. Darkness is trying to be front and center on display in some of the most extreme ways. And so the longing gets deeper, right? The
Yes.
longing becomes more of a desire of manifestation, uh, when we have to look past these things that we know that are not loving. And so it says rest and recline. And or another word that is used is what? Abide in this, abide in this love. And it becomes the perfect peace that we all desire as we come to know that only love is real. And so that which is on display that is unloving, we know that it's only temporary.
That's right.
Ultimately, love is the only thing that will last.
And that quote was from The Way of Mastery as well.
That was lesson 32 and
on page
365.
Outstanding.
And so we got a third quote. We're doing the trifecta tonight.
Oh,
we got a third
trifecta.
quote
Okay.
to help usher us into this conversation.
Okay. This quote, the course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. That's from the resource that we use, that we quote from often, A Course in Miracles. That's in the text in the introduction.
In the introductory. In fact, if you read that introduction, it basically summarizes the book is over 1,000 pages, but it summarizes that 1,000 pages in about 20 lines if you just read the introduction. And I love this part of it. It says that the purpose of the course is, its aim is not to teach the meaning of love, because that is beyond being taught. And
Yes.
as we get into our conversation tonight about love, we'll talk about the fact that love can only be experienced. It can be known through our experience. And it does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is saying here is this: love is what always present. Love is always present. And we're just not aware of it, or we don't recognize it because of blocks that we place in between us and the reality of love. So we're going to get into that a little bit.
Wow. So apparently tonight's lesson is about love. And look at this. Boy, they are putting it on.
They're loving it up,
Brenda
right?
says she loves you guys. Pearl said, we love you. We love y'all. We love you too.
Yes.
Brenda, we love you, Pearl. And Virginia said, love is who we are.
Oh, wow.
Yes, Virginia.
Yes, Virginia. Virginia just summed it up right there in that
Yes.
one statement. Love is what we are.
Yes.
It's who we are. It's what we are. It's all that there is. That's the only reality that there is. So if love is the only reality that there is, then love is our only reality. And we share in that one love. And so before we move into the lesson, are you typing?
Yeah, I'm typing.
Are you
Go-
done?
No, go right ahead.
Before we move too deep in it, we're going to stop and pause briefly just to take care of a little business item here. So we ask you to bear with us.
Would you look at the time? It's tax time. You already know H&R Block does taxes, but here's what you may not know when you file with H&R Block, like how you can get expert help in person or virtually. Plus, our tax pros average 10 years of experience. You can even request to work with the same tax pro every year, and your biggest possible refund is always guaranteed. No one offers more ways to help with your taxes than H&R Block. At H&R Block, help is here.
All right. And just want to remind everyone that the tax deadline is over. However,
Has passed.
it has passed. However, tax needs go on year round. And Chris Wilson and his 14 H&R Block location are there to serve the communities around the North Carolina, Virginia area.
And hopefully you got your taxes in, but if you need some assistance, please
Yes.
contact.
And for those of you that have businesses, right?
Yes.
For those of you who have businesses, he have other resources to help you manage your business on an annual basis. So he's there for that.
Yes. Naomi said she likes the song that we played at the beginning, "Love Is Enough." That's one of our favorite songs. As a matter of fact, the whole album is one of our favorites, which is why.
Do you like that?
Which is why we get to play that. Which is why we play that. We get to play that with permission from our pastor, Brenda Timberlake, at Christian Faith Center in Creedmoor, North Carolina.
Yes.
And she is gracious enough to allow us to use that. We can use any of the music we wanted to on the CD.
We don't normally play music in the middle of our show, but we're going to do it just because Naomi said she liked it. Just in case you didn't hear it.
I know I have not always been what you want me to be. Even at times I pushed your sweet love away, but you stay right here beside me, never letting me go. Now I know the love I needed was right here all along. I know that love is enough to forgive all the hurt and pain. Love is enough to endure all you can change. Love is enough to make up for what you have made. I know that love is enough. God's love is enough. God's love is enough.
All right. All right. All right. There you go, Naomi.
You got
We
a
heard you.
got
We
a
heard you.
extra in there.
Yeah. I know Brenda liked that too. And please be with us. Please.
Naomi said thank you. You are so welcome.
You're so welcome. Please be with us in the month of June. I think it's June 20th. But you don't want to miss the June 20th show because the lead vocal on that project for A Tribute to the General, which is the name of that soundtrack.
He's also one of the producers.
He's one of the producers. He's the main lead singer on the majority of those songs. I think there's 11 or 12 songs on there. He's going to be our guest.
We enjoy the music so much. We
Yes,
thought
and so many of you, and
let you get a little bit of the behind the scenes.
yeah,
for
and
that.
so many of you, ladies and gentlemen, ask about that CD. And by the way, we do have that CD now available.
Okay.
The actual CD. We actually have it now available. So if anyone would love to acquire or purchase one, just reach out to Yolanda and I. And they thought that all of those, because that CD is almost 20 years old, right? Over 20 years old. And they thought that it was out of print, and they thought that it was out of the inventory. And lo and behold, he found a box. I inquired, and he found an entire box of them. And they set aside some for us. So we're excited about that. But he's going to be with us on the 20th of June, and we're going to go behind the scenes of how that whole soundtrack came together, and he'll get into some of the meanings of the song, and it's going to be wonderful. And he is one of the most, what's the word to it?
Talented.
He's one of the most talented. One of the most loving human beings I ever met in my entire life. And you'll see what I mean as we share him with you guys. And we look forward to Efren being here with us. Yes. So with that saying.
Okay, so Naomi, we will get back with you on that.
Oh,
okay.
yes, we'll get back with you, Naomi.
All right.
And it says, I like the words in that song. It's so rich and real, and so where we live. It talks about removing all pain and all shame,
all guilt,
yes. And it's like a return. Love is enough because it returns us to our innocence.
Yes.
It's like a return home. It's like the prodigal son going home, and home is what? home is love. Why? Because we said earlier that love is the only thing that is what? Only thing that is real. And who wants to continue to dabble into the unreal, into that which brings hurt, pain, shame, guilt, right?
We're only talking about the love.
And when love, because love is because love is always is always present, always present. So we just need to remove the what? Remove the blocks.
Yes,
Remove the blocks. All right. And the blocks come in many forms.
they do, but that's okay.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
The blocks are not real. They're only there through what? Conditioning, right?
Yes.
And not knowing in many cases. But we are here as a resource of knowing. We're here to bring an awareness. We're here to bring enlightenment, right? And the Course says that enlightenment is but a recognition.
But a recognition.
And love is but a recognition.
Love is but a recognition.
Londa, if I go back even in the days of our lives.
Okay.
See, the days of our lives. Y'all get it, right? Soap opera. So as I review the days of our lives and I look at the scenario that brought us together, from a world's point of view or from a natural point of view, our story was just not like, our motivation was totally different than what you would traditionally see in a union.
Well, it certainly was not the way that I had
Dreamt it up.
No, I had never ever thought. Well, that would have never even happened because I never would have dreamt that. So, but it's okay.
Are you gonna finish?
Yeah, I never would have.
And I only said that to say that our relationship was built on coming together and doing purpose together.
Yes.
We had a commonality of purpose more than anything else. We wanted to know the truth. We wanted to be more liberated, and we wanted to break free from what we knew was not in our best interest.
Yes.
And so we just decided, let's do this together. It wasn't this lovey-dovey.
Well, I had not known Oliver for very
Yeah.
long. It looks like we're changing what we had planned to do, and that's okay. But so I had not known him for very long. He had experienced a tremendous tragedy that had affected his family, and in offering support to Oliver, which I was not doing alone, there were a group of us. There were 5 of us total, females in our church, who had decided to offer long-term support for Oliver and his son Brooks. And then there were a series of other events that happened that that other people were doing that ended up putting us together for. It was a prayer. We were prayer buddies, is what it was. I really thought that Oliver should have had a strong male partner to be his prayer buddy. This was for our choir at our church, spiritual choir at our church. But I was overruled. The director said, "No, I think you'll be fine." He drew your name. Half of us wrote our names down, and the other half drew a name. And so Oliver and I just laid down the law. I was like, "Okay, we're going to do this. I'm very busy." I was in graduate school at the time, and I was like, "I don't have time to play." So what we're going to do, we can do this over the phone. We're going to be consistent. If you're not going to do this seriously, then I have other things to do. And so that's what we did. We actually ended up having Bible study, and we did pray. And in my naivety, I just didn't realize just how intimate prayer is. I didn't realize that at all. And so, Oliver, we ended up praying about some very serious things.
Mm-hmm.
And
how that prayer brought clarity.
Yeah.
It brought a level of awareness that really was part of what we didn't know that was happening at the time with the bonding.
Yes, did not know that.
No, but but it was from sincere heart and our sincere desire to grow. It was our desire to grow, or
And
it
we
was
were
a
doing-
desire. It was a desire to meet the longings that we had
Yeah.
within each other, and
we were doing this. So at this time, we were part of. We had a traditional church that we went to, that we were members of, and were active in that church. And so we were doing this, studying the scriptures. And because of the tragic circumstances that Oliver, was in, we just knew that we had to focus on love. And so it was a constant reminder of how much God loved, Oliver, loved his family, loved his entire family, loved all of us, all of God's creation. We ended up talking so much about how God loves his creation. And so we were studying this in the scriptures, and love and forgiveness,
love and forgiveness.
Like, it's
That was
hand in hand. It's
yeah.
sort of like Reese's peanut butter cup.
Yes, it's
cups,
two sides of the same coin.
It is two sides of the same
And that
coin.
was huge lessons that I was facing: the love, the unconditional love, and the what at the time we called the forgiveness, right?
Yes.
And so it's a huge lesson that I had to walk through. And Yolanda was there to support in ways that was life changing for me, and helped me get through the most difficult time in my life. You guys, if you're out there and you've lost close loved ones, you know how, especially unexpectedly, how devastating that can be, and how it kind of changes everything about your life. Because again, we had a 2.5-year-old son, and so there has to be some changes, and they were there. That group of young ladies were there to support, and but see, what was not known to us was that it was, our coming together in that time was the best thing for both of us, in that it was like,
Well, it was the answer to prayers that each of us had prayed
that's right.
separately, that we
Yes.
didn't pray together.
Yeah.
And it's a prayer that I had all along. I had always wanted a family.
Yeah.
And so I had always prayed for my family,
Yeah.
even though I didn't know what that looked like.
Yeah.
And I come from, my family's tradition and history is they help whoever it is.
Y'all
that's in
bring
need.
everybody,
Who-
anybody that's walking the street,
whoever is in need.
anybody needs some food.
Anyone that was in need, our family would help, and a lot of that had to do with children. So we've always had someone's child in our home. As a matter of fact, I got a brother out of having someone's child in our home.
Yes.
Tyson, you know how much I love and respect you dearly, because I didn't have any biological brothers, but he is as much my brother and my blood as my children and my sisters. I mean, so just didn't realize that, because all of this happened in a very, very short period of time. I mean, it was nothing that was planned. I mean, we females, we have this thing where we kind of, we do what our engagement is going to be like, and our, our dating, our engagement, our wedding. And so, I like a long engagement, 5 years. This way you get to know the person, you get to see them in all these different circumstances. And, you could really tell whether this is someone that you could have a positive, long-term, marriage relationship with. That did not happen. I mean, that didn't happen at all. And then Oliver and I, we seem so incredibly different. I mean, I am, I'm fun, I'm down on my hands and knees, I'm playing, I'm doing all this stuff. And Oliver was, at that time, he was really, really stoic and very quiet.
Can you imagine me being stoic and quiet?
Wow. That beautiful smile, and we never saw it. I mean, he didn't smile. And I kept thinking, boy, I was like, this guy really needs some things to happen for him, because wow.
Well, little did we know what was at the core of the guidance in our life, and what was really guiding us in all of this, and what was motivating all of this was love. was purpose, because love is purpose, and purpose is love. And so, but we didn't understand it at the time.
Yeah.
But we had an open heart, and 32 years later, we do understand it. Because again, love is not something like the world has taught us. Love is not something that can be defined, or that look a certain way, or has to happen a certain way. Or you remember we read the one quote that says the first quote we read that says that love what embraces all things.
Yes.
Love embraces all things. So love is not afraid of anything.
Mhm.
And so the motivation that Yolanda had to agree to go on this journey with me had to be the motivation of love. Why? Because she embraced the situation. She embraced the moment. Because love embraces all things. Love has no fear. We know there's a
Well, and so that is okay. So everyone that knew me kept saying, "What on earth?" But then they were like, "But that's so Yolanda." I've not been a fearful person, and so so there were so many. We will have to get into this and tell you guys the story because it really is.
But this,
It really is.
But we're
it's
talking
different.
about the nature of love here,
Yeah.
and love works whether we know it or not.
Yeah.
Because remember, love is all there is. It's just that we have, through our conditionings, through traditions in our conditionings, and being taught from a system of separation, we put up all these barriers and all these blocks, and we're not even aware of love at work. But love is always at work on our behalf.
Yes.
And a lot of times we get in the way of love work through fear, doubt, not knowing, just a myriad of things that become blocks to the awareness of love's presence. And not that it's just present, but love is present to what? It is present to bring us to an awareness
Yes.
of who we are. It's there to bring us into an awareness of the shared oneness environment that we're actually operating in. This universe that we're in is a shared universe, and it's a universe. It's an environment by which its foundation is oneness. Its foundation is love. But then we've been taught in every avenue of life about separation, division, individuality. That's part of separation. Individual. In the word individual, there is a divide.
It means in division.
It means in division. But we think being an individual is, it is the bomb.
Yeah.
But it is. But with accurate knowledge, it is helpful. It becomes helpful. But all the time we look back now, we understand that love was at work, and because we were just open enough. We were open enough.
Well, we both were experiencing
Yes.
things that we had said.
Yes.
So from the time that I was a little girl, I had always said I wanted to be a wife and mother. I've always wanted to be a wife and mother, to the point that my desire to be a physician was put, well, not just on the back burner. I actually stepped away from that because I wanted to be a wife and mother more than I wanted to be a physician.
Because Yolanda was doing some pre-med work
Mhm.
when we got married. She was in school, and but then her loving partner came along, and she forgot.
And I didn't know he was my love. I did not know
and
he
she
was
forgot
my
all
loving
about
partner.
that.
I just see.
And
There you go.
No, but actually, she
I didn't know that he was my loving partner.
She stepped into what her desires were.
But
which is to have a
so
family.
I was saying that, and Oliver had said something. Let's just get into this just briefly. Oliver had been saying something. He'd been saying that he knew he had to suffer. He knew he had to suffer. He knew he had to suffer. He said it so much, and he believed it so much until he brought that about. He brought about suffering.
Yes.
And so when the circumstance came together that we were made prayer partners, that was one of the first things that I noticed. I was like, why do you think you must suffer? Why is it that you think that you have to? And this was how we got started on but God is love.
Right.
God is love. and his love covers,
right.
and so this is how we got into
Right.
love. And so there was this, so all of this, the Bible studying that we were doing had to do around it centered around that
love and
that
forgiveness,
oneness,
yes.
that union,
Right.
that unity, that
Whereas,
forgiveness.
whereas the God of my understanding of and the God of my upbringing, in that was a lot of experiences of fear-based theology, where fear was a part of that relationship. And as you may have experienced over the years, that love and fear are they don't mix.
And Oliver was so sincere, and I kept saying, I understand that you're sincere, but what if your sincerity is inaccurate?
Right.
I said, would you be open to see that there may be something else? Because to say that, that God intends for you to suffer was not the understanding that I had.
It just came
all.
from the fear-based theology that I was taught. And so in the conditioning that I experienced. Not that I wasn't brought up in a loving environment. It's just that the message that we got concerning the Creator, it was fear-based. When I say fear-based, meaning it had its basis of it was that something was wrong with us,
and
we had done wrong,
you thought you had earned punishment,
right? And
so
was
that was how it started. And I'm going to put this up because this is so true. Sheila Johnson said, "Bonded in truth." I love that, and that's exactly what it was. So we went on this search for truth.
We went on the search for truth. And we just decided to do that together. It wasn't about us being husband and wife. It wasn't about us being all in love. It really was about purpose. And so that's where we started. And everybody starts differently. Everybody experiences different. But we're just sharing with you how we got started. And now that as we have grown and we have gotten experience and more aware and more enlightened, we realize that it was love really at the base of all of that.
I had tremendous love for your son. So in the way that our schedules and everything worked out, I had the most time. I was not married and I didn't have children, so I had the most flexibility of my schedule, and even my job allowed me to go over when his son was having some challenges. I could go over and spend some time to calm him down. So it was wonderful. So I love the little boy. He was spending time with me. Oliver was traveling with his job, and he was just always in different places because people's schedule was so busy. And I kept saying, that just has got to be so hard for him to not, to not be in the same place. He's not with his father. He's not with his mother. It just has to be such a difficult thing. And so I had the time, and I said, I can provide some stability for him, while you get into a more workable schedule for him. And so, he had met I had taken him to see my parents just because there were things that I had to do. And so he would ride with me. He would stay with me while Oliver was gone. I actually was never with Oliver alone. I never, the only alone time we had was when we were doing the prayer buddy stuff over the phone. And so it was really, there were all these checks and balances that I had in place.
She was trying to play the church girl.
Well, I mean, I just thought it would be easier for him. I mean, I honestly, my only concern, I didn't care what anybody else said, but I just didn't think that he needed to have all of that distraction on top of everything else.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, I knew what we were doing. We had been, this was done in concert with the pastor of the church. And so, we knew what we were doing, and it didn't matter to me that no one else knew or understood. None of that mattered. What mattered to me was that there was a brother who was in need, who needed to have the expression of loving concern for he and his child. And so little did we know that little boy would be my first child, my parents' first grandson. their first grandchild, and it was going to be a boy, which of course was huge since I didn't have brothers.
Which our
other
sisters
than
say, that
Tyson.
ain't fair.
Yeah, well, and it's so funny because when Oliver went over to speak with my parents, and we were having the conversation, and at one point my dad said for my mom, he said for us to leave. So my mom, of course, sat there. She's like, "We're one." And he's like, "No, the men folk need to talk." So we had to go out of the room, and to this day, I still don't know what the two of them spoke about. But when we came back into the room, my mom said, "Well, so what's going on?" And so Oliver said, my dad said, "Well, Oliver has asked for our blessing, and our blessing is what I am giving him." And so my mother put her arm, she was really, really short. So she stood on her toes. She put her arms around his neck. She pulled him to him. She said, "Welcome to the family." And she immediately got on the phone and started calling her sisters to say, "I have my first grandchild. I have a grandson." And that was the way our family started. And so my first child is a child of deep love that I didn't have to carry, but I certainly love him with all my heart.
Yes.
So, and then he asked for a sister, and lo and behold, when he asked for the sister, I actually was already pregnant. I didn't even know it. But he asked for a sister.
Man. He
wanted a sister. He asked for a sister, and Oliver said, he said, "You've been sleeping a lot." He says, "Let's do a pregnancy test." And sure enough, I was so pregnant, it was crazy. Nothing was. I wasn't showing anything like that. It was just, the thing changed colors before I even got to that step. And I was like, wow. So
you was real pregnant.
So I took the test 4 times because I was like, something that I thought that was wrong. And anyway, so then after that, our son and our daughter had a conversation, and they decided they wanted another sibling, but they wanted a boy. It was our daughter who said, I don't want a sister. I want another brother.
She didn't want nobody competing with.
Well, she didn't say that. And she was she was a little over a year old when she was, so anyway, and she could talk so good. Anyway, Oliver said, "Well, maybe we should do a pregnancy test because, they seem to know when you're pregnant." And sure enough, I was pregnant, didn't know it. And we had another boy. We had another little boy.
Yes.
So that was how our family.
That's what love did. And love is all these expressions. All of our lives is an expression of love. But if you look, if you would take an examination of your life, you will see in many phases and moments of your life that love was really at work when you didn't know it. And it has brought you to this present moment. And not that this present moment, everything is just absolutely the way we would draw it up, that we would say perfect, but
not that we've not had challenges,
and
because there have definitely been challenges.
Listen, love is a choice every day that you get up.
Yes.
It's an opportunity to remember the truth and make a decision about whether you're going to express the real you, which is love, or whether you're going to try to reinvent yourself like the prodigal son and go, on a journey of trying to find love. Because that's what we do when we attempt to reinvent ourselves. We don't know that love is already present.
Yes.
And like the inspirational quote said, that love is not something that can be taught, but it is something that we become aware of. It's a recognition, just like awareness is a recognition, or enlightenment is but a recognition. But it's something that we become aware of as we begin to remove the blocks to the awareness that love is always present. So the journey to love is more about undoing than it is about doing. Actually, love is not about doing anything, because love doesn't need to do anything. No. Why? Because love is all there is.
Yes. And so love just is.
Love just is. Yeah. It's always present. And it's all about the journey that we're on. I think our life is a journey of remembering who we are. Yeah. And we remember who we are by removing the blocks to the awareness of who we are. And those blocks come in so many different forms. We've been putting up blocks from day one when we were born, and begin to be taught by by a world that is based in a belief in separation.
So many people kept saying, they were asking, do you love him? Do you love him? And that was I was truthful in the fact that when we got married, I did not love Oliver. I loved his son, but you don't get married because of a child. So I didn't love Oliver. I respected Oliver, and what I knew is that love was a decision. I mean, I know people talk about love being a feeling, but I was saying back then, love is not a feeling. There is a feeling that can be associated with love, but love is a decision. It's a commitment.
Right. Right. Love exists without any content,
Yes.
without any experience, without any life lived. Love doesn't need to be proved.
Yes.
It just merely is. And so as we all have embodied this personal self that we are, again, life is a journey of rediscovering who we really are. And when you come to know that you are the Bible says that everyone that is born of God is born of love, because God is what? God is love. See, so love and God is synonymous, or love in the Creator, whatever you denote as your supreme being, whatever. We're not trying to we're just using the word God because that's a universal way that they express the supreme being. So, and in all of your traditional traditions and religion, the love is always a theme in every spiritual path. Why? Because love is it's just the foundation of
Yes.
all spirituality. And basic spirituality is what? The awareness of that which is eternal, that which transcends time and space. And so that's why as we grow and mature, we begin more and more to desire to go inside of ourselves. It's a desire to turn away from the external and turn inwardly, because that is where the true light resides. That's where our true nature and the essence of who we are reside. Because
that's where the union with the source of
Yes.
all is, so that
Right.
it's inside.
Right.
It is us. We are one with that.
Right. So we discovered through our study, through our desire to know the truth.
The first thing that we said was that we were willing to step away from everything
that we knew,
right. if it didn't serve
Right.
the truth.
Right. And we
were certainly looking for that truth, right. that is true always, that that we don't have to bargain and compromise with. And so that was, this was a long drawn out process.
Yes.
But it was it's been
over many years.
A beautiful journey.
Yeah, over many years. And we're at a point now in our awareness that it's what we share in these talks. It's what we share with our clients. It's what we share within our nonprofit sharing.
And it's what we
right.
share with
so
the people that are dear in
right.
our hearts. I'm going to read some of these comments. Oh my gosh. So my dearest friend Pearl, she said, "You two are wonderful exhibitions of God's love expressed so unselfishly. Thank you." Of course, Pearl knows the whole story. And Sheila Johnson said, "Beautiful story. Thank you for your transparency." We will really have to.
We'll get more and more.
We'll have to get into this because.
But
ours is very
right.
our coming together
right.
is
right.
It's very untraditional. I mean,
right.
I married Oliver and we hadn't gone on a date.
Right.
So when I tell people we didn't date, we didn't court, people don't think that that's true, but we didn't. As a matter of fact, after Oliver said, he asked if I would consider being his wife. And so we spoke with our pastor at that time. We were in Winston. We spoke with our pastor, and so we got great counsel. And our premarital counseling was absolutely phenomenal. That was with Ransford Neal and Lucille Neal at Living Word Fellowship in Winston. That was the church that we were involved with. And Oliver said, well, maybe we should at least have a meal together. We're gonna be getting married. So we did. We actually went out after we were engaged. We went and had a meal, and he said, I ate like a bird. I had a salad. He had steak. And I thought, ugh, but at any rate. And then after that, he said, we're going to go for a walk. And so I thought we were going to go for a walk. And instead, we went to a jewelry store, and he was like, I want to see engagement rings. And I was like, this man is really serious, because I was thinking we were going to be, it was going to be 5 years. I was thinking, as a matter of fact, what I had seen was that I was going to be there when Oliver got ready to go out on his first date, for I was going to be there taking care of the little boy. That's what I had thought was going to happen. But see, many other plans that we have, but know.
So we have come to discover over the years what true love is.
Yeah.
Not by being taught what it is, but by having that experience of that oneness. And so love is to be experienced. And we experience it when we but remember who we are.
Yes.
That we are of itself. And so there's no longer a search for love. We become the expression of what we are.
Yes.
And so our life, in everyone's life who's walking in the awareness of the oneness that love is, their life should be expressing that. And so, but it's a practice too.
Yes.
And we don't always get it right. In fact, we can decide sometime that we just want to get it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but
these are the names that we call each other. Oliver
Yes.
calls me Love Beauty. I call him
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
Only. So guys, I mean, this was not the lesson that we had.
no, this is
for
not
tonight,
this.
but
Oh, we were talking about love, but
we were
it
talking
wasn't-
about love, but it
this-
wasn't going to be
we
this.
didn't go into our notes at all. In fact, I'm going to end by making a couple share with you a couple of points here that we wanted to make, and then we're going to end the program. But this is the notes that I made. I don't know the notes that you made, but these are my notes. Love is the essence of all that we are, which is played out in our life. Our life is a classroom to experience that love.
Yes.
Your life is a classroom. The people that you're with, the people that you love, family, friends, whatever, community, that is the classroom for us to learn love.
Yes.
And so, and to learn that love is the essence of all that we are. Love is experienced through a recognition that it is always present. Love is always present. And as we become more and more open and aware to the awareness that love is present, by removing the blocks, by the undoing. So a lot of things we have to get rid of in order to see and to experience and to know it. Love is always present. No love is to remember your true self. It's but a remembrance. The famous guru said, do these things what in remembrance of me. He wasn't talking
Yes.
about him personally. He was talking about what he represented, his nature. Do these things in remembrance of love, because love is what we desire. Love is what we're, it fulfills all things, embraces all things. It trusts all things. Like the quote we said, and eventually it transcends all things. Why? Because love is all there is. And if love is all there is, and if we exist, that means that we are love. You are love, loving and lovable. To awaken to love is to awaken to the awareness, the reality that we all share is one shared self, which we call love. And finally, it is oneness that we share with God and all creation is what love is. And with that, we rest our case.
And so it is.
And so it is. And so thank you all so
Wow.
much for
Yes,
your
'cause
patience. I know we
we
kind of
went
went over the hour here, but tonight was a little more inspiring.
Well,
than,
maybe it was because we were playing at the beginning.
oh,
we were so excited at
Yeah,
the
but
beginning. So-
I kind of sensed that tonight was going to be a little more just really opening up the heart. And
Look at this. Bob and Carol said, grace works in our lives as the power of love. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And
Naomi.
Naomi says, I am so grateful for being able to meet you and being your friend. What you share, you make my day. Love y'all. Oh,
Thank
we
you,
love you too,
Naomi. We love you
Thank
too.
you so
Yes.
much. It's another patron of ours.
yes, yes.
So wow, Oliver, that was sweet.
Yes.
That was precious.
Yes. And
Oh, and by the way, guys, I love him now. Yeah.
hey, we have no choice.
Yeah. I love
There's
him
no
now.
choice when you really discover what love is, then you really have no choice. And you don't want a choice because you realize there is no choice. There's only oneness. And in oneness, there's only oneness. And so we're not only in love with each other, but we live a life of love in that we love, we understand what Jesus meant, the guru again, when he said to love your neighbor as yourself.
Mhm.
And when you come to love yourself, you can't do but love your neighbor because you
Yes.
realize that your neighbor is yourself,
Yourself.
that we're all one, that
Yes.
we share this one self, this one entity, this one being. And each one of us serve one another. And that's what it's all about.
Oh wow.
So with that, we're going to end tonight by doing our
Virginia says-
traditional blessing.
Virginia says, "Thank you. Our hearts are open."
Yes.
Wonderful.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much. So we're going
Yes.
to end our episode tonight like we always do with the loving kindness meditation by the Dalai Lama, because we love to bless all humanity.
Yes.
See, where love exists, there are no exceptions. There are no exceptions.
Yes.
And so we have to love all humanity. We don't have to love what humanity does, but we love humanity itself. And because humanity is love. And when humanity wakes up and discover individually that they're loved, then that's the solution to all the problems.
Yes.
We make different decisions.
So we are so incredibly grateful that you've joined us, especially since we're over the
Yes.
hour as well. So we thank you so much. We bless you all of you who've joined with us, and those that you hold near and dear to your heart.
So may you be truly, truly, truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
And may you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama. And Oliver and I add, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We extend this blessing to every being on the planet. And so it is.
And so it is, and so we are. My name is Oliver,
I'm Yolanda.
and we are the OK Blues. Love is enough. Love is enough. Y'all say hello to Kona.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know I have not always been what you want me to be. Even at times I pushed your sweet love away, but you stay right here beside me, never letting me go. Now I know the love I needed was right here all along. I know that love to forgive all the hurt and pain. Love is enough to remove all the guilt God's love is enough. God's love is enough.